Hello, my name is Pylon John, and welcome back to the big town of Montmaquis. We've got a lot of things to do today, and we're going to get started with some housekeeping arising from things we got done in the last episode. So let's get started. First of all, the last episode saw the return of the post office to Montmaquis, a rather industrial looking building that we placed in our new city services complex. Now, the post office covers most of what will be our downtown, probably, but it doesn't cover much of the old town of Notre-Dame-des-Martyrs, so we're going to have to add some mailboxes. In looking to place these mailboxes, we can see that their placement greatly affects their coverage area. Even changing them from one side of the road to the other can make a big difference. Zooming in to take a closer look, I'm not entirely satisfied with the placement of this mailbox, so I'm going to relocate it a little bit to the left. I'm also going to notice that mailboxes, like bus stops, don't respect the street names that I've assigned. Anyway, I'll place a few more mailboxes to try to ensure that the entire old town gets coverage. Placing one more right here on Boulevard des Martyrs, and another on Avenue Centrale. You can see that one-way streets really have a big impact on the coverage area. Next, we'll turn to our taxi depot and take a look at some of the upgrades available. There's a dispatch center, which allows taxis to pick up passengers from all over the city and not just dedicated stands, which would be a good idea since we don't have any taxi stands right now. And there's also the electric taxis upgrade. I think we'll activate that. And the dispatch center. It would be a good idea to place at least one taxi stand anyway, right here by the medical center for patients. Speaking of transport, the next thing I want to do is extend the Notre Dame bus loops that we created in the last episode, clockwise and counterclockwise, extend them to the east to this newly built area here. And considering that our forestry industry is the largest employer in the region, I thought it would be appropriate to create another bus line starting from around here, going down over the bridge and ending up down there. I could place another bus stop on the way for workers headed to the farms, but these bus bays are way too long. I think I saw a trick somewhere where you could shorten them by double-clicking and creating a new node, but that just breaks up my zoning. Instead, what seems to work for me is just tracing a new road over the old one. Here I use that same trick again. Over here though, it just messes up my zoning. And over here too. In some places, I try relocating the bus stops, and that makes the bus bays disappear entirely. Going forward, I decide to play it safe and only mess around with bus stops and bus bays in areas that haven't been developed yet. One city service that I've wanted to place for a long time is a cemetery, but I couldn't find the right place for it. I think this might be it, right here on the south shore near the farms and the forestry industry, but it does look a little too urban to go here. So I think we'll get rid of it and keep looking for somewhere better to put it. In extending Chemin de la Résistance to the east, we didn't put our Grenoble-style side lanes in, so I think it's about time we do that. We'll continue adding trees along the main road and wide sidewalks along the lanes to ensure parking on one side only. And here's what it looks like now. At this point, I start thinking of putting in some rows of trees here and there, and I think maybe I'll finally cave and try some of those mods that are available on Thunderstore. First of all, there are some dependencies that are required for other mods to work, including BepInEx, Pack, and Hook UI. Aside from those, the first couple of mods I installed are the Line Tool Lite by Algernon and the Tree Controller by yenyang. With Tree Controller, I can choose the age of the trees that I want to plant, even though it feels like cheating planting anything other than saplings. And as I've said before, I kind of like the tree growth mechanic that they've added to the game. I'll click on the dice to turn on random rotation, keep the European theme, and check out some of these different tool modes. This one replaces the existing trees with trees of a different age. Let's try this out here. And it looks like this tool applies the selection to all the trees on the map. And now they're dead. They're all dead. What have I done? You can choose different sets of trees, deciduous, or coniferous, or bushes. One thing I didn't realize until using this mod is that bushes, like trees, also grow as they age. And this tool allows you to replace one type of tree with another. I wonder if planting bushes and then replacing them with trees allows you to get them closer together. Alright, it's time to try the line mode, which is why I finally got into mods in the first place. Choosing the fence option, I think will place them as close together as they can go. Let's try it out. No, actually, trying it with the bushes, I can see that they're not really as close together as they could be. Placing them manually, I get them a lot closer together. Same for these oaks. Yep, when I killed all the trees, it applied to the ones lining the streets too. That's better. Another mod I installed is the ExtendedTooltips mod, which gives a lot of really useful information that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. It tells you the type of building and the theme, what level it's at and how far it is from leveling up, efficiency, employees, the rent for residential buildings. So it's a lot of really useful information, but I don't know if I want to see all of this all the time. It can really clutter up the screen. I think there's an option in the settings to have it only appear when you hover over a building for a certain period of time. But when I go to click the icon up here, it doesn't work. It doesn't open the UI. I believe that same icon is also supposed to give me access to the CityMonitor mod, but I can't get that either. And the other mod I installed is LegacyFlavour, which should give us the option of changing the colors for the different panels and for zoning. But for that too, I think we need to access the settings through the icon, the Hook UI icon on the top left, and that's not working. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm a little disappointed, and I kind of feel like we really need that Paradox Mods platform to come out like yesterday. I decided to try looking at the game options, and Yeah, actually, we do have some options here for the tree controller. We can change the age selection technique, although I'm not sure I totally understand the descriptions here. We can also make the deciduous trees use the dead model during winter, but it only applies to the non-lumber industry trees. We can also disable tree growth and change the color variation set from the vanilla one to Yenyang's own color set. I think I'll leave it on vanilla for now. And return to the game. What I want to do now is open up the developer mode and use the new line tool to try to place a hedge. And yeah, I saw some hedges that looked pretty good and was hoping that they'd fix this problem, but these hedges still look ugly as sin. After playing around with the new mods for a little longer, I reloaded a saved game and got back to work, placing a row of trees between these two one-way roads here. But I wasn't totally satisfied with the results that I got with the line tool. I thought maybe changing the settings for spacing might help, but no, it's still kind of weird. So in the end, even with the line tool mod, I ended up placing a lot of trees by hand. And you know what? I think I'll just skip the mods altogether for now. Well, we've had a few forest fires, but I think this is our first building fire. Thankfully, the fire truck has already arrived and is in the process of Wi-Fiing the water into the building. I don't know why they couldn't animate the firefighters like they did in CS1. Now, we seem to have a problem here with our buses. Our forestry line is reporting that there are no vehicles available. Let's take a look at this. It looks like we just need to increase our transportation budget. Maybe a little bit more. Problem solved. Now what I want to do is zone some low-density residential around the farms. These are going to be fairly large rural homes and fairly far apart. I realize that zoning low-density residential isn't going to affect demand for medium or high density, so it should encourage overall city growth without harming the development of the downtown area. Our livestock farm is unfortunately still abandoned, but it looks like a pretty nice place to live. Our economy is looking pretty good. I've lowered service fees for water and electricity, and we're no longer getting any government subsidies. Residents seem very happy too. You know, out by the farms looked like a nice place to live, but the city looks like a nice place to live too. Montmaquis is just a great place to live, all around. With the development of these mixed-use buildings, we don't really need hedges here anymore. Oh, look at Hunter. And he's human and precious. Adorable. And that reminds me, let's check in on Menna. Still a teen, now working at BevPop. Poorly educated, modest income, still living at the same place. Okay, and this icon can stop jumping up and down now. Thank you. It is the middle of the night again, but I am wondering if we're ever going to see her outside. And she has a visitor. These are the homes that have been built out by the farms, and they look pretty good. They look like they belong here, except some of them are a little too close together. So we'll get rid of this one. And maybe this one over here. Maybe this one will make bigger. We'll try 4x4 and see what we get. No, not two of them. No, we want one. There we go. I decided to space things out a little more to try to get that rural feel and get rid of the houses that are right across from the farms. Back in town, one of our citizens' few remaining complaints is crime. So because this is a game, I'm going to pretend that the police actually do solve crime and upgrade the police station. Another problem is that we are no longer producing enough electricity for export. In fact, we are now importing electricity, and it's costing us about $4,000 a month. Our budget is already at 120%, so it looks like it's time to build a new power plant. Our small coal plant is no longer going to cut it. We'll need to use some development points here, but should we use them on the gas power plant, on the geothermal plant, or on the large coal plant? After weighing my options, I decide to go with a geothermal plant. It's clean and doesn't require transporting fossil fuels around. The ideal place for it would be this groundwater deposit right near the industrial park. We've got plenty of development points saved up, so that's no problem. We've got to unlock the emergency battery station first, and then we get our geothermal plant. Ooh, this thing is a little bigger than I expected. I don't think it'll fit here. That's what she said. Our other options are up here where the stone quarry is now, or down to the southwest by the farms. And I think we'll go ahead and put it up here. We'll have to demolish the stone quarry, but it's abandoned anyway, and we can stick that anywhere we want. Again, that's what she said. I want to place it just right to cover as much of the groundwater as I can. And there we go. We've got to connect the power line to the rest of the network. Nope, not there. That's outside of city limits. There. That icon means road access is required, so we've got to extend this road. And that is our completed geothermal power plant. Going into our economy panel, we can see that we are once again making money from the service trade. And here we can see why. Maybe we can lower the budget and decrease production so that our monthly balance is positive even before export. Next, we'll tackle demand for offices by zoning for some of those here near the high school in what will probably be our downtown, eventually. And over here, we'll do a little experiment. I want to take another look at some of the different sizes for the low rent housing and compare that to the high density. Let's check in on Menna one last time, and she's now an adult. What's she up to? Here she is. She's outside. We can see her. Wow. So that's what she looks like. Walking down the street past our mailbox. So she now lives with the Fox family. I don't know if that means she got married or what, but she's now wealthy, so I guess that job at BevPop is paying pretty well. And apparently she's on her way home to 219 Rue des Glières. Oh, I guess this is it. And again with the jumping pin icon. Anyway, she lives alone. And yeah, she is indeed wealthy. So let's rename this to the Hegeb family. Our high density residential housing has come in and that looks pretty good. It's a little too tall for the old town, but it's in a similar style. The low rent housing though, not so much. Apparently they use the same ones for the European and North American themes, and it's very brick. Doesn't really work here. And the average wealth in the low rent housing is wealthy. Go figure. In any case, it's almost fall, and I think we'll end this episode here. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do the like and the subscribe and the comment and the algorithm and help the channel out. I'm Pylon John. Until next time, Free Palestine.